in the back pocket, the review show, 5:30 on a Monday, favourite time of the week. The Pies continue to slide, and the worst news of all across the week, the Jeremy Cameron race to 100 hit a little bit of a speed bump. 4 goals, nothing to sort of scoff at. But, again, it probably wasn't enough to maybe be able to get it. But let's have a look at the profit and loss. Every week, we have our best bet of the weekend, the accountability bet. And how did we do this week? Take it away, Nath.
I did really well. I had Finn Callahan for 29 plus disposals. He had 31. He had a good day, but you went really well because you had 2 bets. And
I did. I had the $20 stake, which I'd earned the week before from the Melbourne first goal kicking bet that we had in-house, and I liked Jack Sinclair for 28 plus. Played it a little bit safe because I had the extra 10, but still got to get the bet up, and that's what we did.
You played it smart. That's what you did. And we just thought it was going to rain goals this weekend, didn't we, Zach?
Yeah, I'm stinking it up. I'm just not very good at this. This is why I pick a lot of winners across the week, but never seem to get the best bet
Darcy
up.
fumbled a lot, except that big mark at the end.
Yeah,
he couldn't score from that one.
And you end up, they left Astronaut playing deep, which I do get, but like, come on, man, it was
So you
painful
pick a lot
to
of
watch.
winners across the week. Did Big Reggie's get up as well? Or?
A lot of individual winners. I did pool a lot together, and as a whole, they all failed. But I did get a lot of individuals.
Awfully malnourished pig for someone who gets up a whole lot of winners. But let's focus in on your betting takeaway from the week.
Yeah, well, it's Collingwood. Now, there's some major red flags around Collingwood and their form and their position in the top 4, certainly. But from a punting point of view, I would just step around them for the rest of the season. So the only reliable accumulators for Collingwood really all season have been the 2 Dacos boys, but they're priced so short now, there's no need to look at them. You have to look at mid to high 30s to get any value at all. And you look across the competition and there's so many good teams to back them. You look at Geelong, I think in the front half and the back half for Geelong, you've got goals in the front half, you've got disposals and marks in the back half. Freo I like at the minute. Gold Coast mids are always a very tempting bet, and you got Adelaide for goals. So on-field form is an issue for Collingwood, but from a punting point of view, I would just step around them, and maybe the best side in the competition, Nath, is the Dogs.
I always back the Dogs. I always back the Dogs midfielders. They're the number 1 disposal side, they're the number 1 scoring side. And I've been telling you about the sweet spot, just under 25 disposals. Now, it's not big, it's $3.20, but it's better than nothing. Bailey Dale had over 30. Bontempelli was brilliant. Ed Richards in there as well. The sweet spot, just under 25. Hey, the trend is your friend.
Like that.
The trend is your friend.
The sweet spot multi. That's what you've, I think, trademarked it as.
Yep, I have.
Another one got up over the weekend. Well
The
done.
SSTM.
What about the Brisbane Lions? They ran into the buzzsaw that is the back end of the season, Sydney Swans.
Yeah, Sydney.
Not looking
Carnage.
good for them at the moment. The
Carnage
top end of the
on the
ladder just
8.
in a little bit of trouble.
Could they miss the 8? Could they finish 9th? They've got a couple of games to go. You'd expect them not to, but it's pretty alarming. They got belted by Gold Coast, then they come out and beat the Pies. How good's that at the moment? And then this was pretty ordinary. They kicked the last 3 goals and it was a 2-point game, but they were well out of this for a long time.
I think the thing that this speaks to is, first of all, the toll that they've taken defensively with their injuries. Brandon Starcevic are laid out of this one. There was no Leicester, Payne. Yes, they had a lot of injuries last year, but it wasn't to the same type of player. They have genuine role players now that have been out of the team for a few weeks, and the more and more that you lose those players, we've seen it's really hard to cover. But the other thing, as you said, they can miss the 8.
Look at
now.
those games.
They genuinely can. If they lose both of them and the Dogs beat Fremantle and most of the other results that we expect go the way that they are, the Lions will miss the 8 if that happens.
Historically, they haven't played well without Lachie Neale. And that's a quad. So, like a quad it's a 3 to 4 week injury. So there's no guarantee that Lachie Neale comes back, even if they make the first week of the finals and plays. He's out for the next 2 weeks, so he's not going to be there. Then you do get a break of a week. But quads, you don't muck around with quads. They could be 4 to 5 to 6 if you don't get them right.
No spring chicken either, Lachie Neale.
No.
And certainly not.
From a spectator,
It's not.
From a spectator's point of view, no team is really claiming this premiership right now. So I reckon in years gone by, you could clearly point at 1 or maybe 2 teams that were the standout, and everybody else was quite a long way behind. I mean, over the weekend, even some of the stronger teams really struggled. Freo fell over the line. Adelaide looked pretty average in that one-off game. So, spectator's point of view, it's probably a good thing.
It's going to be a ripping final series. I think it's going to be a ripper. I think
who can put it together for 4 weeks.
And you can't pick it at the moment. Like Adelaide, obviously the number 1 seed at the moment. Geelong, probably the number 2 seed. But outside that, I think if the Bulldogs make it, they can win it as well.
It's remarkable. What's the difference between 2nd to 8th? I think it is 2 games will separate.
6?
Yeah.
6, is it? I believe it was 2, but anyway, that's a good one. No, I've just picked up.
You got it.
Just picked up what you were doing. It's fantastic. To totally sidetrack then, let's get back on to Jeremy Cameron, because there is the market without him to be the leading goal scorer at the end of the year without Jeremy Cameron. Do we see any value as we progress?
Yes, well, this leads my takeaway from the weekend. So let's get that market up to look at the leading goal kicker without Jeremy Cameron. And I want to talk about some value here, all right? So we've got Ben King, 57, Aaron Norton, 55. This is basically a 2-horse race. Ben King has a game in hand. There is no value there, regardless of whether you want to take King or Norton.
Where's your value? You're going to do one without King now.
No, we're going to find some value. So I propose this to you. If Ben King plays the way that he did on Saturday night against Carlton, it's the best game I've seen him play. I've been critical of him. He's kicked 5-6 goals or 4 or 5 in previous games, and he's basically stood one out in the goal square and called the ball in long. He was moving up the ground, he was calling it, he was taking hangers, potential mark of the year there, and he was moving well as a key forward. So I propose to you the value, Brownie, is if he is the second leading goal kicker of the year and plays like that, I think he makes All-Australian. The value is in the All-Australian market because he's $5 to make All-Australian at this stage. So is Aaron Norton. So you would think that those two would be two that are probably taking that second key position at the moment.
And Jack Gunston.
So there's your value. That's the one. I wouldn't chase that leading goal kicker without Cameron. I'd go the All-Australian line for $5.
The degrees of separation. From Jeremy Cameron, we've ended up with Aaron Norton, potentially All-Australian. I like that, and it's amazing to think Aaron Norton, from the start of the year that he had, the fact that we are talking about him being in proper contention for All-Australian.
Yeah, I think Norton is extremely close, which doesn't sit super comfortably with me, to be honest. I don't think he should be allowed to be that poor early, although he's been extraordinary in the back half and still make it.
10 weeks been huge.
I agree.
Not just okay, been huge.
I agree. And it's the 5s and 6s. Like, it's not 2s and 3s and a couple of clunks here and there. He is bordering on unplayable. You got Big Riley T as well, kind of factoring in maybe for that last spot on the forward line. But what Aaron Norton is doing right now is off the charts.
Yeah, Riley Thilthorpe is significantly shorter in the All-Australian market as well, so that supports exactly what you're saying. And I think the recency bias is massive come All-Australian. Jamie Elliott at the start of the year was not going to miss All-Australian, and now back half of the year hasn't been as good. You would probably have most people thinking, oh, does he or doesn't he make it? And then you compare that to Aaron Norton because he's been good recently. Oh yeah, he'll make it, he's in.
I would love to get a sports psychologist to have a look at this Aaron Norton situation, because it's not like they've just, triple team Sam Darcy and he's the next man left open. Darcy's still kicking 4 or 5 most weeks, except when you put him as your best bet of the weekend.
Yeah, the kiss of death. I am. So when you played against Aaron Norton, like, you are struck by how aggressive he is when he jumps into packs, and that's what he always did at his best. There was a point in his career where he's getting talked about as one of the best contested marks we'd seen in sort of 15 or 20 years. He is back to like a reckless treatment of his own body.
Absolutely.
And that is confidence, there's no doubt about it, because I don't recall in the early part of the season even him dropping chest marks but taking a few players out. He's doing it every contest.
I asked Matt Spanger yesterday on Triple M what was wrong with him in the early part of the year, because he looks unbeatable at the moment. Looks like Wayne Carey, and he said he had glandular fever, so he didn't do a lot of training, and he was also injured for a fair bit. He had a calf issue as well. So put those two things together, didn't train a lot in the off-season, had a slow start, and now is humming.
It certainly makes sense.
Yeah.
Injured and glandular fever, that'll do it.
That'll knock you
kicking
over.
a bag with those sort of combos.
Oh, well.
Time for magnet movers.
I told you last week, Cooper Lord, he's a good player. I couldn't understand why they didn't play him more often, and it was the detriment. They are where they are right now because they didn't play Cooper Lord. That is Carlton's whole issue. So he had Caleb Serong last week. Now he's gone to Noah Anderson and kept him to 19 disposals. His disposal line was 31.5. If I could have taken under 21.5, I rate this guy this much. He was going to keep him under that. I like him, and he had over 20 himself. So he's not your Anthony Francina, lock away, don't get the footy yourself. He gets the football. So do you know who Anthony Francina is?
He played cricket, didn't he?
Yeah, he played for Carlton.
Oh,
just
did he?
before he got
Okay.
there. And used to a lot of hair product, Anthony Francina. So he tagged me a couple of times, and you could smell, the old fudge? He used to put that in his hair, really put it in. He smelt really good. So when you tackled him, you're like trying to rub his head into it.
Francino sounds like it could be a hair care brand.
Yes.
Anthony Francino is number one.
Hey, while you're on a
hairspray.
roll with this, who's hot and who's not? And save your nickname juice for Thursday, but give us the
Who's hot and
the
who's
list.
not, eh? Let's get straight into it. Who is hot? And there's plenty of players hot this time of the season, and we've already spoken about him, so we don't need to speak about him. Jordan Dawson as well. Jordan Dawson, 5 of his last 5 games. And the Fritcher, Bailey Fritsch, he is back in a big way. 8 of his last 9 games at 2+. Jack McRae started really well, but he is hot. not hot. Eric Hipwood, none of his last 10 games.
Wow.
Andrew Brayshaw as well. And then you got Christian Petrarca, who's just having a little bit of a slow patch at the moment. Petrarca.
Eric Hipwood, 0 of the last 10. That's
0
remarkable.
of the last 10.
Well, let's have a look at the market movers as well and check the Premiership market and all of that jazz. Let's have a look at the Premiership market right now. Adelaide sitting on top of the ladder in wins and percentage as well, having a dominant season, especially towards this back end. 375, no change after round 22. Anything there that can tempt you outside of the top 10?
It's too tricky at the moment for me. I know Adelaide in form. They sort of just got over the line against Fremantle. I think we know that it's going to be probably one of the closest final series we've had in a long time, considering some of these teams lead into the finals, and I'm just not probably too happy to play at any of those because of how short the top 3 or top 2 are, but the form line at the moment is just impossible to predict.
The Hawks can win it. They've got momentum. 7 of their last 9, and they've had their down patch, and I just like the form they've got coming in to the season, and Dan Curtin just easing a little bit. Murphy Reid has come into 3.
This is a bit of volatile market as well off the page. Volatile market off the page. Fremantle as well in that Premiership market. Certainly the way they're playing, potentially some value. But Levi Ashcroft, the one that Daniel Hoyney, when he came in, he said, no, move him out. He's starting to come back in now. So the Hoyney is losing his pull. Let's have a look at your Brownlow packer.
The Brownlow tracker. Nick Dacos, I don't think votes in the game the other night. Started the game really well, but I don't think he votes. Without Noah Anderson as well. Jordan Dawson was okay. Nazia Wanganeen Miller, have a look at that. He is flying at the moment. Caleb Serong was very good the other night as well, so it's starting to get top. So between Dacos and then the next 3, I've got them within 3 votes of each other. And then the value is on the next page, obviously, and Bailey Smith hasn't voted for a while. Max Gorn was very good again. Merritt, Connor Rozee.
So Nazia, a legitimate chance on your Brownlow tracker, and you'd expect 2 final games with the way that he's playing. He's got another 2 big ones in him.
Yeah, slightly worried I've missed the boat a bit on this because his price was way out there a few weeks back, but he is unplayable at the minute.
151 3 weeks ago.
And if that's anything like a real reflection of where the Brownlow sits right now, 1 game back, you'd fancy him to at least get 4 votes in 2 games. And
there's been a couple of games where they lost by maybe 2 or 3 goals, and he had high 30s, 1 early 40s, and they lost the game. And I think that could be the key. If he gets 3 votes in those games when they're lost, he's a chance.
And the good news for people that took Nick Dacos early is that he's certainly not going to be resting towards the back end of the season here. He's going to be out there, hopefully for his sake, getting the 3 votes. But speaking of 3 votes, let's go straight to the man, Daniel Hoyney. Hoyney, smartest man in football, Daniel Hoyney joins us. And now you are famous on this show for your quote, I will back history until history changes. And you've got yet another history lesson for us today.
2 history lessons today, actually, Felix and crew. But no, good to be here with 2 weeks to go. It feels like we're hopefully over the hump of some challenging footy with some exciting times to go. But
are you feeling the pinch at the moment, are you? Like you said that like, gee, I'm doing a lot of work at the moment.
Browny,
me and my boys at Champion Data.
I love my gig, but
we're outdarted.
My God, it's been challenging this year.
You should have heard the whinging in the makeup room.
No, we're all good. We're excited. Footy's great. But so we thought we'll start with a history lesson. Read the Brownlow. And it was just funny, we were just thinking about this last week and over the weekend around what do the actual Brownlow winners have in common, and we've spoken a little bit about it on this show. But nice, simple way to look at this. So as you can see there, the last 17 Brownlow medalists have all ranked inside the top 6 contested possession players in the comp. It's not top 10, not top 20, top 6. Last 17 Brownlow medalists in a row. So just to keep it nice and simple today, and as I said, we'll back history until history changes.
So who was the 18th that let us down?
That was Jimmy Bartell. So we started from Adam Cooney. So we started from Adam Cooney onwards, right? And then let's have a look at the top 6 contested possession winners this season, right? And we can see there, really of the top 6, there's probably only 3 realistic Brownlow medal chances there. So Serong, Tom Green and Matt Rao. So Serong, we've talked about him on this show throughout the year, has the significant differentials between when they win to when they lose. They've now won 11 of their last 12. So
when he's tagged and when he's not as well.
Spot on. Tom Green's season is, everyone talks about Finn Callahan or whatever. What he is doing, Tom Green, this season is off the charts. Inside the top 20 players in the competition, and he's getting scoreboard return this year, unlike previous campaigns. And Matt Rao, like Tom Green, has elevated his scoreboard returns this season, 35 score involvements in the last 3 weeks. So when you look at the history side of things, those three, are the ones that are putting their hands up in lights going, have a look at me for this year's Brownlow odds. And then we flip to the current favourites and the current, Brownlow, medal contenders that everyone's sort of speaking about to see where they rank in the contested possession number. And keep in mind, 17 of 17 have been top 6. It's only Noah Anderson that is anywhere near that bracket of getting to the top 6, and he's probably not going to reach the top 6 by the end of the home and away season. So the rest of them are not even anywhere near that top 6 mark. So it's just, as I said, it's just it's just one of those things. Will history actually change this year, and will someone buck it for the first time in 18 years? Or will we sit here in 6 weeks' time, 7 weeks' time and go, okay, this is number 18 in a row that has been a top 6 contested possession.
Saying all that, who do you think wins it?
I really like what Tom Green's doing. I think Tom Green, they've won.
Has he had a quiet month?
What he did on Sunday.
Can't have quiet months.
I don't know if he's had a quiet month. Did you watch him against
$41
Sydney?
sounds like a quiet month.
Against North on the weekend as well.
25 touches on the weekend, didn't he?
Yeah, see what he does. There's damage. Contested possessions.
Damage.
It's king. Almost 15 of them on the weekend. 10 clearances.
Is this a reflection on how the game's changed this year? Because you've said before on the show that it's less to do with how you win the footy and more to do with what you do when you get it. So a lot of those Brownlow medal favourites are damaging when they get the footy, not necessarily how they get it. Is this a reflection on the game, or is it?
I think you're absolutely spot on. We've spoken about it at length on this show. It's about how you use it as opposed to how you win it. It's just going to be interesting to see whether or not the umpires are actually jump in line with that way of thinking, or if they continue on the inside contested possession wins.
So do you think history changes this year?
I'll back history until history changes. So I'm going with Caleb Sarong, Matt Rao or Tom Green.
Okay, there you go.
It's like putting a coin into the machine.
Yeah.
You know it's going to come out there. I've been tricked into backing Caleb Sarong for the last few years. So if I take him again this year and he loses, this could be the last time I'm going to the Sarong well on this one. But what about you talking individual awards?
Yeah.
Let's talk Premiership.
2 games to go. Everyone's, the finals race is well and truly open. Thank God for the Dogs getting over the line yesterday. But we just thought we'll have a look at a Premiership audit, and again, we'll go to the history side of things. So in 4 really simple ways in which we can analyse the game. Your ability to defend, your ability to be able to protect your back half, your ability to be able to move the ball from one end of the ground to the other, and then get it inside your own forward half. Each of the last 12 premiers have been top 6 in all 4 categories. Again, not top 2, top 3, just top 6 in all 4. There is only one team in the comp who is top 4 in all of them, and that's Geelong at the moment. And probably at the end of the home and away season, there will likely only be one team to finish top 6 in all 4 of them, which is Geelong. So they have all 4 areas ticked off in those 4 categories. And now we have a look across the other 8 teams to see where they sit. And there's a couple of teams that are close, probably unlikely to get there in some aspects. So Adelaide there are doing so much right. Ball movement is not their strength. They are bottom 4 in the comp, have been able to go from one end of the ground to the other. So they won't get there. Collingwood's ball movement has never been a strength throughout the season, so they won't get there. Brisbane and the Dogs, defensively, just outside, unlikely to be able to tick that off in the final 2 weeks. The Dogs probably the only chance, given that they've got West Coast and then Freo this week. And then Gold Coast and Hawthorn have got 2 boxes to tick, unlikely to get there. Fremantle, which we'll get onto very shortly, is the real interesting one. And then GWS, who I've sort of, looking at GWS now, and I'm not sure if you guys agree, are framing them as really dangerous, but probably can't win it just because they've got too many gaps in their game.
I'm going to ask you a question. Can we put that graphic back up and the 4 areas, okay?
Yep.
So the 4 areas, and we saw the Western Bulldogs and Brisbane are down 1 area. Of those 4, defence, protect the pack half, ball movement and territory, which one, if any, can be changed on the run come September?
I think your ball movement would be the one. Yeah, you do not want to have the defence column there as a red cross.
Yep.
Like the defence element can go way longer than a 12-year period. This is just all for. If you've got that ticked off, well, good luck to you. The ball movement one, I reckon you can have a day where things just click and get moving. But defensively is the one. If you've got a red cross there, pretty much almost forget about it.
What about Freo? You teased us for a bit there. One of the hottest teams in the competition. Are they legitimate?
Win-loss suggests that they're one of the hottest teams in the comp. Big picture-wise, they're a fair way off it, which is surprising when they've won 11 of their 12 games. This is their profile in that 12-game, 13-game period. They've lost one game in that time, and what they are doing offensively resembles a mid-table to out of the top 8 team, which is staggering for a team, as I said, that's only lost one game. And they've had a relatively simple draw in that period. So I'm looking at what they're doing defensively at the moment. It's reasonable. I don't like how they actually move the footy with how slow that they are, and I think that gets protected. But offensively, now coming up against Brisbane and the Dogs, that profile needs to change and become a bit more of a threat. Otherwise, they are a legitimate chance to not even feature come September, just with what they're able to throw at the opposition. Brisbane score, the Dogs score. It's just whether or not they can actually go with them over this 2-game period to even give themselves a chance at finals contention.
And you look at Fremantle up against the Lions this week, obviously, and their ability, the question mark around the Lions is their defence. The question mark around Freo is how slowly they move the ball. So you feel like that doesn't quite outwork what the weakness is in the Lions. So could be an interesting matchup when it comes to that, because if you want to get through the Lions defence, we saw the Swans did it. Forward handball, quick ball movement is not how Fremantle play their football. So it'll be an interesting watch on the weekend.
Well, but the fact that they've been behind at 3/4 time in 6 of their last 7 games, good on them for being able to get over the line. But there comes a tipping point where. I should have gone with it. However, there comes a tipping point where that's just not sustainable. So big night for them Friday night, but just a watch with what they're doing offensively.
Before we wrap, you've been a pretty staunch defender of Collingwood, saying you've got to go through these little sort of whatever the opposite of a purple patch is. Are you starting to get worried now?
Look, sometimes you've got to put your hand up and just say, look, might have got that one wrong. But look, I mean, this is now beyond a tipping point, unlike it was 5 days ago, 6 days ago.
Beautiful work. We'll be back very, very, very soon with quick hands. Did I just start barking like a dog? Welcome back. It's time for Quick Hands, and the hottest topic of conversation for the last 3, maybe even 4 rounds has been Jeremy Cameron and his race to 100. I am transfixed on it, and I'm also disappointed because 4 goals 5 was not the result that we wanted against Essendon. He was the most punted on player of the week for him to get 6+ against the Dons, but just could not get it done.
No, 9 shots at goal as well, but Shannon Neal took the limelight early, didn't he? I still think it's on. Because they're going to go deep, they're going to play home final. And I think maybe come grand final day, we could be running out to Jeremy Cameron kicking 100, which would be amazing. Are you going to run out? If you get the chance, will you jump the fence?
No.
That's disappointing.
Oh.
Would you run down from the commentary box? I assume you'll be with Triple M up there.
No.
Would you run from the commentary box?
It's a long way.
Would you send someone down? Maybe the producer, a junior producer. You've got someone from the box.
Maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
I just wouldn't go out. I would want to steal his thunder. Could you imagine Cats fans seeing Reggie again? It was just like Jez would be on his own in the pocket, and I'd be getting chaired up.
The last time people ran on the ground, you tried to steal someone's keys and wallet.
I did. Very nearly got away with it too, if it wasn't for you pesky kids.
Great footage of Jason Dunstall, who kicked his 100th. And I reckon 13 people ran out. And not even one teammate got over to him.
12.
And he just walked back to the goal square. That was it. That was very, very low key back there.
You wouldn't want to be one of the couple and then risk actually being fined for it, because there's only 2 people that have stormed the ground, and then you're susceptible for actually being fined and banned. So with the corporates around, you don't know.
Well, that's the danger.
No one might come with you.
One of the best scenes when Buddy kicked his was the photo of Buddy with the ball has not even hit the boot, and there's about 6 people that are almost at the centre way line of the field that had run on there, just taking their chances that he was going to kick that one as well. Do you think that, just quickly before we move on from the 100 goals, do you think that if he goes out and kicks 1 next week, it's that distraction of it as a way? Do you think it can be a distraction moving forward to Geelong as a team, or do you see no issue with it?
Nah, not really. And he's a pretty laid-back sort of character, so he'll get asked about it every week, but I genuinely don't think he cares. I think he wants it, but I don't think he's going to go out of his way. And if it does happen, great. If not, it won't bother him.
My favourite bet, you know what that is? It's 100 plus. And I've been starved this year. I'm looking like your pig right now. Do we think that we're going to see one in these final 2 rounds?
I think we see one this weekend. I think we see the Western Bulldogs beat the West Coast Eagles at Marvel Stadium by 100 points.
You do know it's also happened once already.
Yes.
Once.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's not enough.
I think they.
I didn't happen to be watching
they
the
get it
game.
done. Because they were pushed against Melbourne last week. West Coast were really good against Adelaide. It's really hard when you're a team that's sort of had the season that they've had to have a game like that to just not quite get over the line and then try and get yourself up for 2 more rounds. I think they get it done this weekend.
If they win by 100, how many does Sam Darcy kick?
8.
Norton?
Another 8.
Quickly, before we wrap up, AFLW, who wins the Premiership? They start this Thursday night.
Oh, well, the ball's not been bounced. You've got to go with the premiers of last year, North Melbourne.
Love it. That's the wrap up. We will see you on Thursday.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.